We now join the following program already in progress.
Oh, hey, welcome back to another episode of the Secret Monkey Quarantine Half Hour Show. Today we have interviews with Greg Hawkes and Jeff Carroll. I Want My Daddy's Records in a short film by me, so please enjoy.
Descended from the same family tree as Lancelot Link, Curious George, and the Space Monkeys of yore, a simple family rock band has dared to go where no band has gone before. In these pandemic times, we need Secret Monkey Weekend now more than ever. So without any further ado, settle into your favorite chair, call your neighbors, because it's time for the Secret Monkey Quarantine Half-Hour Show.
Raise your right paw, your right hoof, your right tentacle, whatever you might have.
I shall sing no song that is not a Secret Monkey song. I shall make no record that is not a Secret Monkey record. I refuse to be known as anything but a Secret Monkey singer. I am proud to be associated with the Secret Monkey music. Secret Monkey music and Secret Monkey fans made me what I am today, and I shall not forget it.
to see you just the same. Well, you don't have to worry taking care of business in the day. Jesus left Chicago and is bound for New Orleans. Jesus left Chicago and is bound for New Orleans. Morning to the cover, both ends of the train. Thank you. Welcome to the latest episode of. So this is an interesting one. He died last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Any idea whose this album might be?
Mom's is my guess.
You pretty sure?
Yeah.
Who was the bigger
probably
reggae
guess.
fan?
Mama.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mama.
Okay. The
The
Letterman. Wow. Going out of my head. I remember in the first grade there was some sort of singing class we had, and this was like considered some kind of hip song, but I think it was more of just your pop thing. You know who the Lettermen are?
No.
No.
Well, I don't know if they were. I guess it was a trio. I don't know. I thought it was maybe four, but you know, they used to be on every variety show that I was on at the time. You know, Ed Sullivan, who knows what. They were always on.
Def Leppard? Is that what it is?
You girls are familiar with them at all?
Kinda.
They had Pour Some Sugar on Me, right? That was their song.
You know, I was not really that into them. Some of my college friends were, but
I think that's one of Dad's records.
yeah. It seemed like Photograph was their big song. I don't know. Yeah, Photograph. See, I don't know. It's kind of like Photograph. Yeah, I remember the album cover, but I just can't really. You know, definitely the late '70s, early '80s.
Lou Rawls?
Now this is kind of cool.
Feeling good.
Yeah.
Is that yours?
Nope. I don't know. This is another one that I don't know. You think maybe it was your dad's?
It's possible.
Huh. The Letter. That's the box tops for what it's worth. Buffalo Springfield. Huh. Yeah, all right. Peter Gabriel.
That's a cool album cover.
Yeah, I can't remember if this is the album that he had this sort of really breakthrough video. Let's see what the songs are. No, this was before this. The song that made the radio back then was Games Without Frontiers. So this was probably around 80, and sure enough, copyright says 80. Yeah, that was I really like that.
Squeeze. We love
Argy
Squeeze.
Bargy.
That's yours, right?
You know, I don't think I owned but a couple of Squeeze vinyl. Most of mine were on cassette, so this is probably your dad's. My guess is, don't you think?
Or it could have been Mom's. Mom said she liked to Squeeze when she was
A youngster.
Yeah. Great. Gosh, some of my favorite tunes are on here.
Ooh.
Yep. We love Squeeze. I think this is the second time this album's been on the show. Is that right?
I think. Says the Joshua.
Hey, Joe Barlow, if you're watching, I could have sold you this one for way cheaper. He apparently found this vinyl somewhere this week. It's like, dude, we had it. Stay in touch. All right. Village People. Cruising. Gosh, is that their debut album? I don't know. Do you know?
Yeah, I'm not a Village People scholar,
Let's
unfortunately.
see. Okay, here we go. YMCA, yeah. I don't know these other tunes. Oh, well. Gosh. They must be really long songs, like 3 songs per side. Wow. Okay. Let's see what year this is. Does it say?
78.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how about that? Well, that's another. By the way, I don't know whose this is. It's got a. What does it say?
$50?
No. I'm reading the store. Half price books. Huh. Maybe Matt picked this up for 50 cents at nice price. Anyway, that's all for another episode of. See you next time.
Next, a short film by Lila.
And now, a song by Jeff Carroll.
Ellie, I know you've got some issues, but I've got a box of tissues for my sweet Ellie girl. Ellie, I know you've got some issues, but you've chosen to choose to make the best of it, girl. All the world is a wide open space to hold all the love you give. You put a smile upon every face, give a friend a reason to contend. Ellie, 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 Ellie. I know I've got some issues, and this struggle continues to be most unusual. Ellie, you're a little complicated, but I'll never grow jaded with my sweet Ellie girl. La 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 la. You put a smile upon every face, give a friend a reason to contend. Ellie, 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 Ellie,
And we'd like to welcome Jeff Carroll to the Secret Monkey Quarantine half-hour show. Only me and my peanut gallery clapping because the girls are otherwise booked at the moment. But being old friends, I think we can get a lot discussed.
Okay.
So, I guess in the last 6 months, you and I played together. Maybe one of your last shows, right?
That's right. Last show Lemon Sparks played was in Carborough at the station with Secret Monkey Weekend.
Right, right. So tell me, so Lemon Sparks basically are on pause due to the pandemic, but what have you been doing in the meantime?
Well, we have a new album that's in the can. It's ready to
Right.
go.
Wow.
But we're just, we're wondering how we're going to get it out
Hmm.
and whether it needs to come out sooner or later because of
Right.
the virus.
Well, I don't know how many people know that you and I grew up in the same town and we're about 5 years apart. So I was good friends with your older brother, Ted. And of course, he introduced me to you saying, I've got this brother who plays guitar and maybe you should get together sometime. So why don't you tell your side of that story?
Well, my older brother introduced me to a lot of music and to some very key people in my, in my life, including you, and of course the Samosky brothers. It was him
Right.
and Steve Samosky were best friends, and had been since probably kindergarten, I think, the way I understand it. But Steve had an older brother, Paul, who worked in School Kids Records on Hillsborough Street.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that was sort of our in to what was great,
Yeah.
because Paul would tell Steve and Steve would tell Ted, and then Ted would have all these records that I would hear,
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, one day Ted tells me that there's a guy, Jeff Hart, who had a Telecaster or had just gotten a Telecaster, and I had just gotten a Stratocaster. So I
Right.
thought, wow, there's somebody else in town who has a great guitar, So I
Good
think
taste.
I made it a point to look for you when I went to get shoes at the
Oh,
store
that's
you worked in.
that's right. I worked at the shoe hut while I was in college. Yeah. Well,
When I got a little older, I had a friend and bandmate in Mark Ussery,
yeah.
and Mark was playing with Kenny Shore and Herbie,
Right.
Herb
Right.
Campbell,
That's right.
and the G-Men. And
Yeah.
so the G-Men would like open for the Pressure Boys or whoever, and they would always get me in, even though I was underage. So I was
Right.
thankful that I was exposed to some live music.
Yeah. Of course, back then when you were starting to do your own original songs and you wore round glasses, I think everybody was trying to make Marshall Crenshaw comparisons with you, even though we loved
Uh,
him.
yeah, I love Marshall Crenshaw and still do.
Yeah.
And I think he's a fantastic guitarist and songwriter. And that's somebody else that Ted introduced me to. Yeah.
Just through all the years, you went to UNCG. In fact, do you remember that I helped you move in when you moved into college? I went along with Ted and your parents to help you move
Oh,
in.
I am so sorry. I remember how hot it was.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sure.
Thank you for that.
Well, I
Three
brought that
flights of
up.
stairs.
Well, I brought that up because, you going to UNCG, living in Greensboro, put you in contact with some other fellow students and just people in the town who were making music. And,
Right.
that led to Notes from a Strange Mailbag, Big Kids, which were bands you were in. And then, of course, being from Raleigh, you had a connection with the guys like, you just mentioned and me, and we would share gigs. And that was a really fertile time for not only North Carolina music, but people like us who were just getting off the ground.
Right. Yeah, it was great to meet people. I got to meet the guys in Notes from a Strange Mailbag. They were a band from they formed when they were in high school. We were all the same age.
Yeah.
And then at the end of my freshman year, they asked me to join their band. So
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. And
Yeah.
through them, I got to meet a lot of other bands that we were doing shows with. Glenn Jones and Mike Sinkpill and their band, and
Yeah.
there was the Other Mothers, and
Right.
gosh, there was so many, the graphic, so
Yeah.
many bands around there, and then those, you know, all of the musicians in Greensboro and the musicians in Raleigh, we started trading gigs back and forth at Hot Tamales and the
That's right.
brewery and the Fallout Shelter, and it was just a great time of camaraderie and discovery, you know.
Yeah. Well, Jeff, thanks for being with us, and we really appreciate your time, and we wish you well during the rest of this stay-at-home stuff. And you know, don't be a stranger. You know how to find me. You can Zoom me up
Yeah.
anytime too.
Yeah, great to see you, and also to see the girls, and thanks so much for having me on your awesome show.
Well, thank you.
And,
It's our pleasure.
thanks for doing this. I know it's been a real bright light for a lot of people during this time.
Well, it's been nothing but fun, and it's rewarding for us too. Thank you.
You're certainly welcome.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Myers-Briggs, we'll have Myers-Briggs. INTJ, hey, Myers-Briggs.
Yeah.
And now, a song by Sam Fraser.
No. Sam is next week. Greg Hawkes. This song is by Greg Hawkes.
The hours have flown to the past. Too long since we have crossed paths. Now put away the things that don't last, 'cause time here with you is going too fast. And I can be your mountainside. You can be my river wine. No more goodbyes, it's too soon to part. And I trust in you with all of my heart. And it's time to rest your mind. Come to me and leave it all behind. You've shown me a reason for it all. Now you've given me a soft place to fall. Inside your smiling eyes is a dream that I can't deny. It pulls like the warm summertime, and it brings peace of mind. It's so hard to find. To feel the touch of your skin, well, it's the sweetest medicine. My blood you bleed, and your breath I breathe. Why, it's no wonder it's all we need. And it's time to rest your mind. Come to me and leave it all behind. You've shown me a reason for it all. Now you've given me a soft place to fall.
we'd like to welcome Greg Hawkes to the Secret Monkey Quarantine Half-Hour Show.
Hey!
Round of applause. Welcome, Greg.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Well, you know, you're a fine songwriter and a friend, and it only made sense to have you on here. And it's you know, we had a little catching up prior to the cameras rolling, and maybe we'll do some of that now.
Yeah.
But tell me what you've been up to. I know you've apparently you're a guitar instructor or music instructor of renown. How's that going?
That's going great. You know, I started doing that way back in 2000, and it's you know, it's rewarding in its own way, and I've actually probably learned more than I've taught in all those years, because I know you teach too. One of the things that you realize pretty early on is that when you think you know something, go try to teach it.
Yeah.
And you actually don't know it as well as you think you do, because when you have to actually explain it to somebody, you have to know a lot of details and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it's been great for me. And but you know, self-employment has its ups and downs. You know, sometimes it's like, I guess the downside of things is you don't know what next month's paycheck is going to be. But the upside of it is having my hands in music, and you know, helping people with things that I wish somebody would have told me way long a time ago, before I did everything the wrong way for however many years that was. You know.
Well, I guess I started maybe about 3 years after you did teaching, and I've kind of let it slide to the point where the students are at a trickle right now. But I have to say, one of the best things about it is just getting to know the people. I would not have known Laura, my wife, had it not been for guitar teaching, because Ella was my guitar student a couple years, you know, before we got married. And of course, you know, I'm still teaching them music. In fact, as soon as this is over today, Lila has a bass lesson and also a little bit of a drum refresher. So we're always working on music over here.
Oh, that's so cool. And man, what a great mentor and teacher they have in you. You know, all the things that you've said and all the different kinds of bands and things that you've done as a songwriter, bass player, and guitar player, and everything else. You know.
Well, thanks for saying so. It's, you know, it's very fulfilling. The money is not always there, but I got to say, you can't buy the kind of goodness that's come out of it, I have to say. Well, Greg, it's nice to know that you're still doing it. And of course, tell us about your music. I know that, you know, when you first started playing in the years after we were both in the $2 Pistols, you had the Tremblers about, gosh, around 2000 or so.
Yep.
And tell me what you've been doing since then.
Oh my gosh, man. I've feel like I've lived like 10 lifetimes since then, musically. After the Tremblers thing sort of ran its course, I did Fool's Paradise, and after that album, I sort of had a major life change. You know, my father passed away, and I you know, got married and got divorced, and was just in a major transition period, and also got sober and quit drinking, and that was really huge. So getting through all of that was just kind of a year of just trying to find my legs, probably. But as I was getting out of that, I had always, my whole life, I'd always wanted to sing and play bluegrass music. Being from Mount Airy and growing up with it all around my head and hearing those harmonies and all that. So a friend introduced me to a guy that I started taking mandolin lessons from, and we hit it off right away, and he asked me to start playing with his group, and I did. And then for a good 4 or 5 years, all I did was try to get better at playing and understanding that music, which was a pretty huge challenge in and of itself. And and also trying to maintain my status as an original songwriter.
Yeah.
And then that sort of ran its course, and I didn't do anything then band-wise for a while. I had 2 or 3 bluegrass bands that kind of sort of got going a little bit and then would fall apart. And then I ended up writing and starting to record my third record, What Goes Around, and God, it ended up coming out in 15, but I think I started working on it seriously in like 2012 or so.
Wow. Have you been listening to any new music during quarantine?
That's a great question. I have been listening to a lot of music during quarantine. It's really all over the place. I've been listening to some jazz, but I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just the strangeness of the times or whatever, but I find myself listening to music that's probably darker than I've ever listened to. My wife, a lot of times she'll go, this is just depressing me. Can you turn it off? And I'm like, well, sure, but I don't know what that says. I guess it's just sort of like listening to chaotic music makes me feel like calm in a chaotic time. So I've been going back and listening to my old like Clear Spot by Captain Beefheart, and Neil Young's always a good thing. I've been listening to a lot of Brian Eno and John Cale, Paris 1919. And I kind of got really into this Radiohead kick again. I really loved OK Computer, and I didn't really listen to a lot of their stuff after that. And I've kind of been going back and listening to all the records after that and really enjoying that.
Right.
So, and some hip hop stuff. My son's really into a lot of like beat production and hip hop. He turns me on to stuff. So it's kind of all over the place.
Right.
Lila and Ella, it's great to meet you both.
Yeah, it's
I
good.
look forward to seeing you guys. I've seen videos of you playing. You sound fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. I was going to say it's really nice, our biological dad, he was also in the $2 Pistols, but, towards the very end of the band.
Oh, yeah.
So Matt Brown,
I
remembered that, yes. That's so you've got a major connection with that band.
Yeah.
Time. Yeah.
Great talking to all of you, and thanks a lot for having me. It was an honor. Great to see you.
Bye-bye.
Well, that's all for this week's show. Next week, Peter